Good morning, folks. This is Greg Judy at Green Pastures Farm. Today we had the cows actually going a different direction. We had them straight across that road over there. And they were all up there by the gate. We're actually going away from the road in our rotation. But the yard needed to be mowed. And our landowners are coming in. And it'd take him probably a full day to mow this yard. And I can do it with the cows in about 2 hours. So we're going to leave about 400 head in here. They're on about 2 acres of yard, and they're going to do a number on it. And we're getting something out of it rather than just chopping it, chopping it off with a lawnmower and putting it on the ground. We're actually getting some gain this way. So yeah, I would rather graze it than mow it if I had that option. So, and the cows are like, they're just wistfully looking across the road this morning like, man, we'd like to get in that yard. And I'm like, you know what, honeys, we're gonna bring you across and put you in the yard. So it just took us a second. We ran a wire around the pond. We ran a wire around the house, and we ran a wire around that shed up there. And we already had a water tank in that little shed. We just stuck it on that hydrant real quick. It's only going to be here 2 hours. And that way they can get them a drink if they get thirsty. And they got everything they need here. I can tell by looking at the animals, though, they're not, just super, super, super hungry, which is good. You don't want them super hungry when you move them. But it is a wonderful deal being able to mow your yard with livestock. And of course, when the landowners came in, that was his first priority, was mowing the yard. So he'd spend a day, before he did anything, just mowing the yard. And so we're going to let the cows help him out. I mean, it'll be a little fuzzy, but we're going to have 90% of the grass that would have been mowed on the ground. It's going to be in the belly of an animal. And of course, one of the bellies is their cow, and that is Grandma. Somebody asked, well, you did all that calling, and did you sell Grandma? Like, no, we didn't sell Grandma. Not going to sell Grandma. She's still here. Matter of fact, she's right there in front of me. And for a 21-year-old cow that's had 19 calves, she's looking pretty darn good. Big old gut. Just got a big old fermentation tank, and she's just an unbelievable cow. This is that little black Angus heifer that we bought. She's half South Pole, and her dad was that real nice bull that we sold, 763. He was one of those macho bulls. He got sold here about, 2-3 weeks ago, and he's now in a herd of South Poles, and he's spreading his genes on that new farm, and we're excited about it. We got 4 heifers out of him. That's one of them. So she's definitely out of a black cow that was bred to 763. And then we've got a red cow out of that bull, a heifer, and she calved. She had a beautiful calf. I don't see her right now. And then there's that spotted thing, which I'm not. Somebody asked the other day, it looked like you had a, what'd they say, a jersey. You got a jersey in there? She kind of looks a little bit like a dairy something. I'm not sure what. Oh, she kind of looks like definitely looks like she's got some something in her. Well, she's building an udder, and she's going to be calving here pretty soon. So we'll see what she has. I'm not real crazy about her. She's not built up very well in the rear end, but we'll see what she has. She looks like she's going to be able to milk it just fine. You don't know. I mean, that little cow may just end up being one of the best ones in the herd. You never know. The cows are we just put them in here 5 minutes ago, and so they're more than anxious to explore what's out here. And that little bull calf just pulled up a dandelion. Look at that. he's got it stuck in his mouth, and he's like, I can't chew it off, Greg, it's too tight. It's a beautiful bull calf, by the way. This is just a beautiful sight to me. You got this real pretty pond. We don't let the cattle in it. They can graze all the way around it. And Steve was emphatic about making sure that I get them on the back of this dam. Well, they'll get on the dam some, but the problem with the back of that dam is it's not succulent. See, this has been mowed off in the yard up here. And so anywhere that it's been mowed this year, that's where your concentration of animals are going to be. A lot of Queen Anne's lace, as you can see. There's a cow down there. She's walking down there anyway. But we leave them in here a couple hours. There'll be some cows venture down in there and get some candy. It looks like those animals are watering. I didn't get that wire right there on that corner. I'm gonna go there and see if they've got a water tank up yonder. The ponds, I mean, I talked to my neighbor yesterday on our cattle drive. I was give him a jingle because his wife goes out sometimes and I didn't want to block the road for him. Anyway, he said he didn't have anything else to do but measure rain. And during that 7 days, I mean his land borders right next to me. He doesn't run any livestock, but he had 17.5 inches. So that's a lot of rain, 17.5 inches in 7 days. And yeah, so they're sipping right there on there. That's not hurting anything. They found them a little water right there. They're standing up here on the grass and they're drinking. They're not out in that pond. By the way, that's a pretty young bull right there. What is your number? 050. Wow. For a young man, he's definitely getting the muscle tone. By next year this time, y'all might want to remember 050. I bet he's going to be a stud of a bull. I mean, he's not even a year old. Boy, he's got a perfect set of testicles too. Whew. Man, he might make the macho. He may make the macho class for 2020. He's that good. Man, this is just unbelievable. It's peaceful. There's not hardly any bawling. There may be a bull up there bellowing and telling everybody he's a man. But other than that, everything's just chilling, munching. Even the young calves are all chewing on this tender grass. I'm glad we came over here and mowed this morning. I know Steve's going to be tickled. Steve and Cindy. And they are country folk. They were born and raised on a farm in Nebraska. And so they're used to, what cows bring along with them, which is some manure. And we're supposed to get rain. This is Thursday. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. We got 4 days, they said, possibly heavy rain coming. And so any manure they have in here, 3 to 4 days of rain, it's going to be gone. And I think they are getting here on Monday. So it'll be mowed, fertilized, and washed off. Which is pretty cool. Boy, that's a pretty little bull right there. He's just a young fella. He's probably 5 weeks old. 185, you're a pretty little thing. We got a big day looking at us tomorrow. We're going to get the sheep up. All the sheep will be brought up into the corral, and we'll sort the ewe lambs away from the ram lambs, and that's when we keep the young rams that will be used as breeders and to sell as seed stock, the parasite-resistant St. Croix ram lambs. There's not a lot of people that run sheep the way we do, as far as, not babying them, no worming, of course, no shearing, no hoof trimming, no grain, and very, very, very minimal hay. It's got to be pretty bad out before we'll put a bale of hay, because they won't eat it. Our sheep don't like hay. They'd rather forage for a living. But anyway, we're going to get them up and clamp the ram lambs, the ones we don't keep as breeders, and those will become withers and be marketed as grass-finished lamb. And then the ram lambs will be kept in the corral for about 3 days with their older guys. So the old rams are still in with the ewes. So once we put them in there in December, they winter with the flock, and they're not taken out till July 8th or 9th. This year it looks like it's going to be the 9th. But that's soon enough. We're not going to have any winter lambing by doing that. And the only bad thing about doing it in July, of course, is the heat. It's going to be hot. Oh, there's that pretty little steer. Man, that's when you kind of wonder, like, why'd you put a band on him for? His testicles must have been twisted or something. Boy, is that a steer? Oh, there's another pretty one. 062. You got some really nice young steers in here. Some of those are going to you up there over there in Georgia, Mr. Alford. Those will be coming to him in 2 weeks. Got a load going out to Georgia. So, guy wanted to do some grass-finished beef. He wanted the best genetics, and he called us up, or he emailed me. And we're going to have about 15 that'll be ready the end of July, and we just banded those the 1st of July. And so it'll be a little while. We're going to wait for them to, the testicles to slough off and then get healed over, and we'll be selling those. And they're going to weigh, those guys are going to weigh probably 750. They're good sized animals. 700, I'd say they'll average around 7. Some of them may be slightly bigger, but most of them around 7. And those, well, here's one right here. Got 054. I'll show you. So this is a bull that we banded because he didn't shed off perfectly on top of his back, and so we don't put up with that. If they don't shed off by this time of year, you just got to band them. And so we did. He's going to make a super nice steer, though. Just a beautiful animal. Docile, darn things are hot wire broke, one single wire. You can move your animals anywhere you want to move them. And most of this wire around this yard today, it's not even electrified. But these cattle think it is. And that's all you need is a bluff. And you can use a bluff for up to 1 or 2 days of not energizing wire. Then after that, they get smart to it. You'll find animals, actually walking underneath the wire because they realize they're not going to get shocked. Boy, I mean, these cattle are just having a heyday up here. We fenced off this area right there because cows like rubbing on stuff like that. And of course, around Cindy's and Steve's house, there are all those lights, those little yard lights. They'd uproot them, kind of push them over. They just like rubbing on things, so you can't let them into stuff like that. It's just not a good thing to do. Not if you're going to be mowing the yard with cattle. Calves, they like it over here. This is great fun. It is fun. This is a great occupation, I think. And you got animals out here you get to spend every day with, and they're gentle. They like seeing you. They're just docile to handle. They almost have a smile on their face in the morning when you come out here because they know you're going to move them. And I am the predator. I'm always watching. If I see a goofy one that takes off running, I'm talking about an older animal, you know, something that's 6, 7 months old, starting about there. If they run from me and they have no reason to do that, I am going to get rid of that animal. Now there's 021. That's a steer. He's still following that heifer. So she's not in heat yet, but he can smell her. So he's telling the other bulls, this is one that you might want to be watching. Boy, that's a beautiful heifer. We banded him because he's too leggy. He's got too much leg underneath him. And he just doesn't, of course he's not going to look like a bull with the testosterone going. He was banded probably 3 months ago. I can feel just a little bit of sprinkle. I came over here and walked in the yard this morning before I turned the cows in. I didn't want to pug this. You know, when you come out and mow the yard, you don't want to be bounced out of your seat if you're trying to mow. And Steve, he's so giddy about us mowing. Oh, Greg, just go on, don't matter. I'm like, Steve, it's gonna matter. And you're not gonna be happy with me the next time you mow your yard when you can't, you know, your teeth are chattering going across the yard. 173, you are a chunk. Yeah, you're a nice calf. Tell he's doing well. He's even got a little wrinkle in his tail head up there, a little fat wrinkle. Mother's milk will do that. Golly, what a beautiful calf. There's one we'll make a steer out of, 156. As he gets older, not now, we're gonna wait for him to get up there, you know, 8, 9 months old. He's got a little bit of scurs, those little points coming out of his head. I probably won't get much longer than that, but he might, as young as he is. He's out of one of those South Pole cows. It's a 3/4 cross. It's not a pure South Pole. Sometimes you'll see that. You'll see a little bit of scur on one of them. They don't really throw horns, but a lot of people are just really skeptical when they see any kind of thing that looks like a horn. It's starting to mist just a little bit, but it's dry enough. We can keep them in here, you know, as long as it doesn't get any heavier than this. We can keep them in here probably 4 hours. That's what I'd like to do. Man, that is a pretty heifer. Nothing wrong with that one either. We've really had a really nice crop of yearling heifers. Of course, we sold 5 of those. We auctioned them on the website, and there was quite a few people interested in those, and we actually sold those here about a week ago. And so we're going to start doing that a little bit. We don't sell a lot of heifers because we mainly focus on selling cows or cow-calf pairs, something that's got a little bit more age on it. Because, folks, if you get in the habit of selling all your heifers, you're going to wake up one day and you're going to have a whole herd of older cows. You're not going to have any youth coming on. So, you know, heifers have their own unique challenges. But the ones that make it and make good cows, you've got a lot of time left to get a lot of calves out of that heifer. Or, you know, starting with an older cow, you do have a proven animal. You probably don't have to worry about her. She's going to calve just fine. But, you know, she doesn't have as many years. It's just arithmetic. So we put that hydraulic hose. I love these hydraulic hoses. We had 10 of those made, and they're 6 foot long. And they can take the sun, UV. They're just tough. And that hose will probably last us 20 to 25 years. And it's got the heavy duty brass fittings on it. A couple of leaks on a public water line water meter with a cheap hose, it'll teach you real quick that those hoses are the cheapest thing that you'll ever buy for your farm. Cheapest thing you'll ever buy. Because you won't have any $200 to $300 water bills. See, if that hose breaks and you're not checking it for 24 hours or even 12 hours, you'll have a $100 to $200 water bill because it won't shut off. That hose is broke. You know, this one is an awesome hose. Got the Job Mega Flow on it. This is an old tank, and it's kind of like a pair of coveralls. You get used to them, you don't want to throw it away. So I patched it. I took a piece of door jamb, some self-tapping screws, and you know what? It's kind of holding together. Get that bug out of there. Look at the fittings. You talk about a good hose. Yeah, M43, get you a nice cool drink of water. Now normally, if we were going to leave them here for half a day, I'd have put the fiberglass post in front of that so they can't flip it over, but we're only going to be here a couple hours. And most of the cows are out grazing. They all drank out of the pond before they came over here, and so I'm not worried about it. Oh, there's a nice little steer, 9106. Got poop on his butt, but he's still a pretty steer. There's a nice little heifer. Whew. She's a doll. We started going to the smaller ear tags on the calves. I don't know what I was thinking, but we used to use the bigger tags on them. And the advantage of using a bigger tag, of course, is when they grow up, you don't need to change the tag out. But we started using these calf tags, and we've never had a ripped ear since. So it's worth it. Get the small tags. Don't use the big tags on calves. And I think we are going to double tag our cows when we get over to Doc's on the big head catch corral system. All the cattle under 2 years of age, we will give a black leg. Just one shot of black leg. And at that time, we're going to put double ear tags on them. There's a few cows in here that's lost their tags, and then Isaac and Ben Connor are pretty sharp, but you get this many cows, you don't remember what the tag number was. And so we're going to put two, one on each side. And anytime a cow loses a tag, we'll get that tag. We'll get her up, put that other tag in that's missing. It just makes your cattle record so much better. But with that, I'm going to continue watching the cows mow the yard. And we're going to get going here in a little bit and put them back across the road here in a couple hours, and it's all good. So, I was going to say, somebody had emailed me asking about the 814 bull, his semen. Oh, I'm sorry we missed it. It's sold out. I'm like, no, it's not sold out. We still have semen available, and we're collecting him again on Monday. So we're going to have, it looks like, plenty of semen. And, for one of the best bulls that's ever born on Green Pastures Farm, you can put his genetics into your herd for $35. $35. We just sold the bull. It was the litter mate to 814, 833, and he sold for $10,000. Not very many people, 15, 20 cows can make that work. But for $35, you can take the best genetics, something that's taken us 18 years of developing, to get bulls like that right over there chasing that cow. You can start in year one and get really good, well-adapted animals that are going to look like this, 1,000-pound cows, and you're off and running. It didn't take you 18 years to get to here. And somebody made a comment that, well, I guess all your bulls are going to be 10,000 from here on. No, they are not. They're not. But the very elite, the very best, we'll put them online and I think that's what the marketplace is, So far we're able to do that in the United States. It's an open, I think they call that capitalism. If you got something good and you got more than one person wanting it, let them bid and see who wants it, and I think that's great. That's what makes America good, is people, marketing, figuring out better marketing methods, and letting people decide what they want to do, not being told what they need to do. I love it. So anyway, I'm going to climb down off that soapbox. And everyone have a good one. Hit that subscribe button on the way out. And we'll see you next time. Oh, and also, I'll be at Joel Salatin's in September. go to our website, look at that date, and I'll be speaking there in September. There's Joel and I and several other speakers, Jim Garish. It's going to be a good one. We'll see y'all down the road. Take care.